Hello, welcome to lesson 8 of The Healing Path to Your Soulmate. This lesson is about releasing relationship issues. Now, many of us, when we've got issues, they can seem normal to us, so we can often not recognize them as issues because everyone around us has the same thing going on, and so it just seems completely normal to us. And so to be able to release issues, we really need to shine a light on what those issues are and recognize them as issues. So that's the first step. Now, one way we can do that is to go back to the start, back to the start of our lives and see what influences we had in the first place. And so what issues we've picked up because of the influences we've had. And so the best place to start is to look at our parents' relationship. Now, when we look at our parents' relationship or the relationship that our parents were in, whether they're in a relationship with each other or with other people, we can see from those relationships and what was going on in those relationships just what we've picked up. And being a child of a parent, it gives you a really good position to see clearly that relationship of what works and what doesn't work. And so as we're growing up, we're looking at this relationship, we're seeing what works, we're seeing what doesn't work, we're deciding when we're experiencing all of that, we're deciding what we would like in relationships and what we wouldn't like. And so what we tend to do is have these desires to experience better relationships than our parents have had themselves. But then, because we've only had the examples that have been around us and not the training from other people who didn't have those issues, we tend to go right ahead and recreate those very same problems, the very same issues within our own relationships. And that's just because that example wasn't there for us, and so we haven't had access to the solution. And so that's quite normal. And it's really important not to blame your parents for this. Parents are just here to learn like the rest of us, and we're all, none of us intended to be perfect before we were here. They learn from their parents, and they learn from their parents, and they learn from their parents, and so blame shouldn't be involved in this process. And if we had all wanted to come here and kind of have perfect upbringings and live perfect lives, then the world would be a very different place. In fact, we don't. We come here to learn. We come here to experience contrast, to experience issues, so that we can grow and learn from that. Because without contrast, without experiencing the flip side or the negative side of something, we wouldn't have the strong desire to experience positive or something better than that. And so we would never expand and grow if we didn't have these kind of negative or not wanted experiences. And so they serve us really well. Also, if we wanted our parents to be perfect and give us these almost like role models instead of lesson givers, then the world would be quite a different place, and we wouldn't be able to have children until we were much older than we are. As it is, we are kind of forced into having children while we still have these issues, before we've had time to really resolve them. And that really helps us, because as spirits, we want to incarnate here and give ourselves the best possible chance of learning and growing in the way that we want to learn and grow. And often that means experiencing this flip side, this contrast. And so you can look at your parents' relationship or relationships and gain a lot of information from that, looking back at it now, on your own relationship issues. Also, not only do we recreate our parents' relationship issues, but we tend to create some more as well, dependent on our experiences in life. And so so I'll give an example of mine. My parents had control issues, okay? So I had a controlling father, and my mum gave her power away. And so I learned how to give my power away, and kind of felt that was love. That felt like love to me, giving my power away and being with someone that's controlling. And even though I knew that I didn't like that, I knew that it didn't feel good to be with someone controlling, nevertheless I would still pick controlling people to have relationships with myself and give my power away from them, because I didn't have any other kind of an example of how not to do that. And so it felt like love to me, and so I went right along with it, even though I knew that it didn't feel good and really I wanted to experience something different. And And going into the first relationship that I went into, yes, it was a controlling relationship, but he also had another issue too, which I picked up. I picked up that issue that he had because it gave me a belief in relationships. It gave me a relationship belief that that's what men were like, and so I picked up a relationship issue from that. And so we don't just get them from our parents; we get them from experience as well when we're not adept at letting go of things. Okay, and so your relationship issues tend to be based on how you think love is, how you think relationships are. And so the healing that's required here is to be open to the solutions. This is a hard one to teach in this kind of format because everybody has a completely unique set of issues and a unique things that they need to learn in their lifetimes, and so this works much better in the one-on-one, but there is some work that you can do by yourself. And so your homework this time is on your personal healing journey to releasing your relationship issues. What I want you to do is write down, again, this list. I want you to write down, number one, what were your parents' issues? What were their relationship issues? And so look back on their relationship or relationships and write them all down. And then number two, I want you to write down which of those issues you've recreated in your relationships. So which ones did you learn from? Recreate. And number three, I want you to write down which other relationship issues have you experienced since then. So the ones that weren't given to you by your parents. And then number four, I want you to write down which issues that you experience in others do you most resist. And so this is about what really pushes your buttons. And so it might be when somebody's lying, or it might be when somebody cheats, it might be when someone's controlling. Because these can give you really big clues as to what your issues are. It's the ones that you emotionally react to in others tend to be the ones that you have inside yourself and you haven't quite seen that yet. And so once you've got all of these issues, that gives you a clear kind of, it's shining the light on those issues. And that's one of the most important steps in healing, is actually to own what the issues are and know that it's within ourselves. And actually, once you face things and you shine a light on it, it gives them less power. It gives them less power over you. While you're trying to deny it or push things away or just see it in other people and not actually claim it as your own, not own it yourself, it has power over you. And so we're shining that light on it, that light of awareness on these issues. I then want you to ask for help. Ask for help from your angel guides to release these issues. And then it requires you to be open to the solutions. And so as soon as there is a problem created in this world, a solution is created at exactly that same moment. There is perfect balance in this universe, and there are solutions out there for absolutely everything. And so it only requires you to be open to that solution. And one way to be open to solutions is by being solution oriented. And so rather than look at the problems and focus on the problems so much, it is just to be open to the solutions. And so that's a kind of, rather than looking at your issue and thinking, oh, I've got this issue, I wish I didn't have this issue, I've got this issue, I'm really focusing on that issue. It's just a matter of saying, oh, I've experienced this issue, I'm ready to release it, and I'm open to the solution now. I know there's a solution out there, I'd like to be shown it. And when you kind of ask for that kind of help from your angel guides, then you are shown it. Because what is required here, you've picked up these issues through other people and through experience. And the only reason that you haven't released them already is that you've not had that role model, you've not had that teacher, you've not had somebody to show you how to do it. Now, going back to my, like this control issue that I experienced, I didn't have a role model, and all of the people around me, of course, were matches to me, and so there weren't a role model for that, for how to be an empowered woman. And so I know that I wanted to experience that. And I knew that I wanted to experience something different, although I couldn't label it being empowered yet. I knew that I didn't want to experience this controlling, because it felt like lack of freedom to me, being controlled. It doesn't feel nice at all. It feels like you can't be yourself. It feels like you've got no freedom. And so I knew that I didn't want that. And yet I didn't know what it was that I did want, but I knew that there must be a solution out there. And so I wasn't labeling it as an empowerment at the time, but I just knew that I needed to have an example of a woman who wasn't experiencing this. Okay, and so I kind of put that out there, and then went about my life. Again, recreating lots of the same kind of different, I guess, easing levels of control through my relationships, of these control issues. And what happened was the solutions came in various different ways. It came through starting to meet women that were empowered. It came through being in an extremely disempowering situation which required me to go to counselling for. And the counsellor taught me how to be empowered in my relationships and how to take control of a relationship with a controlling person, and so how to kind of turn that around in existing relationships. And so I was taught in many different ways what that solution was, and so that I could do it myself. And so that took a few years to accomplish, but it was well worth it. And the same thing will happen to you, is when you ask for the help to release these issues, once you really own them and know that you've got them and that they're yours to release, rather than blaming your parents or blaming someone else for giving them to you, you can ask for this help, and it will be shown to you. It will be shown to you. Your angel guides are going to put things in front of you, experiences in front of you, people in front of you, teachers in front of you, therapists in front of you that can help you, that can show you that. And so just keep your eyes open then. This is all about learning good relationship skills. That's what it's about, really. Releasing issues is just not so much about the release, and it's more about learning relationship skills. And so when you have a relationship issue, you tend to only have those people around you that have similar kind of things. And so I was married for 7 years, and when it came to the point where I just couldn't be in that marriage anymore, and we broke up, I wanted to figure out why I couldn't do that, why I couldn't stay in the marriage. And so what I did was I went around all my married friends, family, friends, people that had been married for a long time, and I went to them to try and find out what it is that kind of in them that allows a marriage to work. And I was really surprised, because every single couple told me that they are unhappy and that they should have split up years ago. And it left me feeling really down about relationships and about marriage, until I realised that I only had access to the people that were vibrating on the same level as me at that time. And so it was people that were going through the same kind of lessons as I had. And so I'd taken that step to leave that marriage and to find something better for myself and to find the solutions. And so the relationships that I have access to now are completely different. Also, it's important to note that even if you have positive examples around you, you won't necessarily see them. What I mean by that is you can have a couple that are around you that have a really good relationship and actually have the solution within their relationship of something that you're wanting to release, or a skill that you're trying to gain, and you don't have access to that because you're not on a vibrational level as that. And so what I mean by that is, if you had actually seen that issue and focused on that issue, shown that light of awareness on that issue and looked for the solution, then you would have been able to see that part of them, and you would have seen that positive part of them. Until you did that, until you looked at the issue in that way, you would have looked at their relationship and not seen the positives in it. You would have found them a bit weird or something not quite right. I had this very same experience. When I look back, a couple that I didn't go to ask them how they kept their marriage together was a couple that did have a really good relationship. And that relationship to me looked like it was codependence. It looked weird. It looked like they were a little bit too close. It looked like lack of freedom to me. Looking back on it now, it wasn't that at all. They were obviously soulmates, and I can see that now. But I didn't have access to that. I didn't have access to the positive parts of their relationship, for their experience from that, because I just wasn't a vibrational match to that at the moment. And so step by step. This is an ongoing healing journey which you need to take step by step in shining the light on these issues and asking for release. As always, the Be Healing team and myself are here to help you if you need some help with those, because with the psychic readings and with the healing work that we can do, we can actually get to the bottom of these things and support you through them, and it's a really fast way of getting through issues. And so if you're open to the help, then don't hesitate, just get the help from us and we can get you through those really fast. So we have Skype sessions or email readings available for that. And so, good luck with that ongoing healing journey. Just keep on being open to those solutions and they'll find you.